What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today we're actually talking about a few new collections from the brand Painted Polish. I've got their Booked for Love collection as well as their I Love Mint collection. So we've actually got 16 polishes total. But before we get into that, if you haven't heard of Painted Polish before, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based in the US, and all their polishes are fave free, meaning they are free of 5 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish, and they're also cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So like I said, we've got a few collections here. The Booked for Love collection is actually a 2-part collection with 5 polishes in each one, and they're all book-inspired nail polishes. And then we've also got their I Love Mint collection, which is 6 nail polishes, all in the same minty green finish with different colors and glitters going on in them, as well as 1 stamping polish. So we've got a lot of swatches to go over today. Let me just dive into them and then we can talk a little bit more about pricing, my thoughts, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the ILNP base coat. So starting off with the Booked for Love collection, we'll do the part 1 shades first, and this first color is called Feelin Thorny, and as you can see it is a pinky toned red crelly base color, and then within that it is totally packed with black, gold, and silver flakies running throughout, and the opacity on this was just unreal. You could see in that first swipe that it actually ended up giving me full coat coverage. I ended up doing 2 coats just to show you what it looked like, and I did 2 coats on all of the polishes in this video, but I will say the vast majority of them were 1 coaters, which I found to be so impressive. So I love this one. There's a little bit of like a vampiness to it, especially with that black in there, and I love that it has that cooler pinky undertone to it. Next up we have Fury and Fantasy, and this one is a minty green crelly base, again with the black, gold, and silver flakies running throughout, and this one actually had a similar base color to the other collection that I'm going to be showing you, which is all mint colors, but I will show you a little comparison at the end of them side by side so you can see how this one differs. I would say it's a little bit deeper and more saturated than the other mint colors, and it has a little bit more of a greenish tint to it. Again, full coverage in 2 coats, but I could honestly get away with doing this in 1. Next up we have the shade Ruinous Romance, and we have this beautiful medium warm toned purple crelly base. It's almost like an orchid kind of color, and then again we have the same color flakies running throughout, the black, the gold, and the silver, and this one really highlights that golden color. I think it just kind of adds a little bit of like a springy warmth to it, and I love how saturated this purple is. It definitely feels like springtime, but it also doesn't feel like that dusty, muted kind of color scheme we see so much this time of year, so another one I totally loved. Then we have the shade Frosty Flirtation, and this one is a light sky blue base, and this one was a little bit more sheer than the others in the collection, so I did end up needing 2 coats for full coverage here, but it did end up giving me that perfect coverage into, again, same flakies running throughout. We've got the black, the gold, and the silver, and I just love the color combination with that really bright blue plus this yellowy gold flaky. There's just something about it that feels very perfect for sunny summer days, but I also feel like this is a color combo that I lean towards a lot in the winter time, so I just feel like this is going to be very multi-seasonal useful. And then we have the shade Flames of Fancy. This one is a really vibrant orange base color, again with the black, gold, and silver flakies running throughout, and this one with that orangey base color, it actually kind of covers up a little bit of that silvery flake, and it almost turns those into another yellowish gold flake, so it's a little bit harder to see that color distinction in there, but I do think it adds a little bit more depth and dimension to the color. But this color combo here is definitely giving me like tiger cartoony vibes. So now moving on to part 2 of the Booked in Love collection. This is Lakeside Love, and this is actually what I'm wearing on my nails now and in the intro and outro to this video, and we've got this really beautiful slightly dusty medium pink base, and then within that we've got this purple, red, and golden flaky running throughout, and there's something so nostalgic about this color combo. It kind of reminds me of like bubblegum or Tutti Frutti, and I just think it's so cute and interesting. It's definitely unlike any color I have. Then we have the shade Stop in the Name of Love, and I will admit, at first I did sing that, but then I had to re-record this because I didn't want to subject you all to my terrible singing voice. But this one is a dusty lavender purple base, and again we have a really interesting combination of colors here. So we've got the black, that golden yellow, and then we also have red flakies running throughout. And this is just something that I love about painted polish. They always come up with these really unexpected color combinations. I would never think to put these colors together in one polish, but somehow it just works so well. So I always love seeing them do that. It's just a very creative way to put together polishes. Then we have the shade Royal Rendezvous. This is another blue base color, but this one is a little bit darker and a little bit dustier of a blue. And within it, we've got these really intense red and light pink flakies running throughout. And again, it's just such a striking color combination. The contrast here is so sharp and interesting. It feels like another multi-season kind of color to me. Like, I think this could work for any time of year because it just looks like a springy sky color, but it also feels like a fun summery 4th of July color, but it could also be a really interesting, unique winter color. So I really love this one. Next, we have the shade Wingin It, and this is a polish that I actually did a short on, and a lot of people did not like this color. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I totally love it. I love a weird kind of ugly nail polish, and I think that this is absolutely a weird ugly nail polish, but in the best way. It's this beige mustardy yellow base color, and then we've got the black, gold, and silver flakies running throughout. And I don't know, it just reminds me of like kitchen countertops, but in the best way. There's just something very natural and weird about it, and it's just so unique. And then we've got Steamy Storm. This is actually the sequel polish to Wingin It, and this one is actually a light gray base with the black, gold, and silver flakies running throughout. And this one I would not classify as an ugly pretty. I would say that this one is just straight up pretty. It looks like a stone granite kind of finish to me. I just think it's so interesting and organic, and I love that pop of color from that yellowish gold flaky. It just makes the polish so interesting. So now onto the I Love Mint collection. Like I said, there's 6 polishes here. They all have the same mint green base color, but they're all different flakies or glitters or finishes in there. So this first one is called Mint Chip Magic, and as expected, it definitely looks like a mint chocolate chip ice cream. So we've got this mint green base crelly, and then within it we've got a ton of different sizes of black flakies, and it just gives like a really fun, funky chocolate chip kind of vibe to it. Then we've got the shade Mint Mosaic, and this one again we've got that light mint green base color. This one is a little bit more sheer of a formula, which is expected because we have a lot of colors in here that you want to be able to show through, and we basically have the whole rainbow. And this time, instead of flakies, they're actually in the hex shaped glitters. So we've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and it honestly just looks like a little confetti funfetti party on the nails. Super cute, perfect coverage in 2 coats, and you can just see all of the fun colors in there. Next up we have the shade Freshly Minted, and this one I would say is one of the standouts of all of the polishes that I'm sharing today. This is actually a jelly base, but again we have it in that same minty color, and then within that we've got this intense green and then silvery white flake running throughout, as well as a hollow sparkle. And there is just something so different and fun about this polish. I love how sparkly it is. It reminds me of American Money, and it also kind of reminds me of like special elegant occasions because of that intense sparkle. So I just think this one's really fun, and again, just unlike anything that I have in my collection. And speaking of polishes that are unlike anything I have in my collection, we also have Minty Muse. Again, this one is that mint green base color, but because of all of the colors of glitter in there, it actually ends up looking a little bit more green. So we've actually got this gold as well as a holographic fuchsia hex glitter running throughout, and this is just another color combination that I would never expect to do. I think it's such a funky way to put together colors, but somehow it looks so stunning. Just the richness of that fuchsia pinky color against the green is so unique and different, and I just absolutely love it. Next we have the shade Mint to Be. Again, we've got the minty green base color, and this time again it does look a little bit more on the greenish side because we have this really intense reddish pink flaky running throughout. It's actually very similar to the mint chocolate chip one, but in almost like kind of a strawberry vibe. I feel like it ended up looking very reddish on me, but I think that's just because I throw very warm tones. But in the bottle, the glitter definitely looks a little bit more pinky toned. Again, super fun, super different, really sharp and interesting contrast here. And then last but not least, we have the shade Stamped in Mint Green. So this one is a stamping polish, which means it does have one coat opacity and you can use it for stamping nail art. I always like to show you what these types of polishes look like applied regularly, because it is important to be able to apply them as regular polish so that you can have like a matching accent nail. And I was really impressed with this one. It was self-leveling. It was definitely on the thicker side, so you can stamp with it, but it wasn't too thick where it made it uncomfortable or difficult to apply. So I was just really impressed with that opacity. Now, I haven't stamped in a while, so I was a little bit rusty, but I did stamp on a random design over this like multi-chromatic green I had. And again, you could see it's just a really intense color. I'm very glad that it showed up so vibrantly against a deep color. I was really impressed with this one. So here's all the polishes together, and instead of grouping them by collection, I decided to actually group them by color so you can kind of see the similar colors next to each other, because we have a couple of purples, we have a couple of blues, and of course we have a decent amount of minty colors here. And I have to say, they honestly all look pretty different to me. Now, me saying that, I am a nail polish collector and a self-proclaimed nail polish addict, so of course I want to have them all. Do you necessarily need them all? No, but I love having all of these options. I think they're so gorgeous. I think this is such an underrated formula. I was so impressed with the opacity here and just such fun color combinations. You can really tell that the brand has a good handle on color theory, and they really love to express different ways of showing that. So I think that's really fun. Honestly, just happy to add all of these to my collection. So yeah, let's talk more about them. So those are the polishes, and as you can see, I totally love them. I am so impressed by painted polish in general. I think they're just one of those criminally underrated brands. They have such a strong handle on color theory. I love when they do these collections where they take one color and just expand it into so many different options. And it's not necessarily that you need all of them, but it's such a great opportunity to kind of see exactly what type of polish you like the most and choose that. And if you're a collector, or if you happen to love that one particular color, then it's really cool because you get a bunch of options. And in general, I think their formulas are just absolutely incredible. I think that they're so good for coverage. They're so beginner friendly. Normally, I associate this sort of crelly formula with being a little bit more intermediate, but these are just so easy to work with that I feel like it's such a great brand to start using if you've really never dipped your toes into indies before. And I think the inspiration, especially for the book themed polishes, is really fun. Obviously, I love almost all of these books. Some of them I haven't read, but I am especially a big fan of the ACOTAR series, so I really enjoyed having those. So now let's get into pricing and availability. All these polishes come in 13.2 milliliter bottles. They do feature the wide flat brush that has a rounded tip, so application is even easier. And they retail on the Painted Polish website for $12 USD. I do also have an affiliate discount code, so you can use the code KELLI10 to get 10% off your order there, so I'll link that down below. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think of these collections? What do you think of this type of crelly finish? And which of the colors that I reviewed today is your favorite? Leave it all in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's Would You Rather question is Would You Rather Superpowers edition. So would you rather have the power of invisibility or the power of shapeshifting? And I think for this one, I would choose shapeshifting, but I would need to stipulate that shapeshifting can't be painful because I don't think I have a good pain tolerance. Like if it hurts to rearrange my bones to become a bird or something, I don't think I would be able to handle that. Like I don't think it's worth it for me. And in that case, I would just choose invisibility because I think both of those powers would be very useful. But I would say shapeshifting has a little bit of an edge because you can, well, I guess both of them are good for like spying on people. But if you could shapeshift into a bird, then you could just fly places. Although there's also the downside, which is that other animals might be able to eat you. But can you shapeshift into other humans? I have so many questions. I feel like I always take these would you rather scenarios so seriously, and I'm like, I need to know this, and this before I make my decision. But no, I'm gonna lock in with shapeshifting, again, on the stipulation that it's not not painful. So that's what we're gonna say. In this universe, it doesn't hurt to shapeshift. And you can stay shapeshifted for as long as possible. Did anybody else read those Animorphs books and like get totally ruined by that series with the guy who turned into the hawk? I don't want that to happen to me. Maybe I should just choose invisibility. Anyway, let me know your answer in the comments, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!